I was thinking I had a shower before this. That's why my hair is like it just goes like poof. Um, this Wednesday is a big day. I thought, oh my God, like I've got a lot on. As in my brain, it's not actually reality. But I thought Wednesday, is it Wednesday? I feel like, do we officially turn July on Wednesday or is it Tuesday? Otherwise, it doesn't. No, it is Wednesday. So Wednesday, we are officially in the month that I am due, in theory, to give birth. I was like, oh, that's very real. Wednesday is also the date that we can officially home birth under the NHS's. They kind of allow it, so to speak, for the next 5 weeks. So it opens up that window. It's the day I can start collecting or attempting to collect colostrum. They said I could start last week, but I don't want to trigger the birth early. I was like, no, 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 there is apparently it can. So I was like, no, we're not doing that before we can home birth. What else is there? 3 weeks until the official due date. You know, you like, I was like, boom, 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 boom. Oh my God, like there is a lot in my brain happening for Wednesday. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, feels very real. Very, very real. Right, so I don't know what view I'm in. We're just going to keep it like this because I can never work it out anyway. I want to talk about, and I haven't got any slides on this one. I can kind of feel it. I feel things when they happen and kind of just want to talk about it. This concept of perfection and the ability, like perfection is not, it's not something that we should necessarily strive for. And I get it, especially when we attract like high achievers naturally into this program, right? You want to be very good at everything you do. And that includes, I don't know, it includes parenthood, it includes relationships, it includes careers, all of these different things. It includes even like being like a an overbearing dog mum, for instance. Like I know there's a lot of those in here as well. But this is it. Like we're all in the same category. And trust me, I get it. I really, truly do understand this. And again, like you attract the kind of people that you are. So the fact that I'm a little bit like that and you guys are too, it makes sense. But it's not very helpful in certain circumstances. So, for instance, what I was kind of trying to get at this morning is we can all train. I genuinely believe this, that every single one of you has the ability to train. And yes, 3 sessions a week for the majority inside of this program. A lot of you guys are doing three. We do have women that do more. But three is the gold standard, and it's the gold standard for muscle hypertrophy. Any study around muscle hypertrophy will say if you work similar muscle groups 3 times over in a progressive overload style program, so you're aiming to get stronger each time you do something, that is where muscle hypertrophy and the development of muscle is optimal. But that is optimal. But last week I couldn't train. I physically, my feet were in pieces. I might have been able to go at the weekend, but then I didn't have the time to go at the weekend because apparently I just like to squeeze everything in at 36 weeks pregnant and just try and see how much of the world you can take over when you really shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? And then my feet were like enormous, and I thought I can't possibly take these to the gym because they were just too painful. So, but what I don't look at is go, and don't get me wrong, it does make me sad not to be able to train. Like it is inherently a part of my personality. It is who I am now. I love training, but I'm also able to take a step back and go, well, that's the first week that I couldn't even tell you the last week that I had a full week off lifting weights for years and years and years. And I imagine it would be if I was really, really sick, as in like flu bound. Like I did have a window where I caught COVID all of the fucking time. But then again, I still might not have missed an entire like Monday through Sunday week. I might have been able to catch it in on a Sunday and feel like, oh, I've caught it. Do you know what I mean? It's not a whole week out. But last week it just wasn't going to happen for me. But I'm aware there are 52 weeks of the year, and if I've smashed it for 51, it's not that little percentile in that week that really matters. That's not the one that is ever going to make a difference. Now, where it is important is if you've not trained for weeks. This is where I need you to start asking the relevant questions. And the questions are why. Now, again, we kind of talked about this a few weeks ago, where you might be sitting there going, right, okay, I'm the problem. I'm just not doing it. Do you know what I mean? I am the issue. I've just, for some reason, I've got a mental block and we need to work through that. That could be a thing. It could be that you are just giving everything to everybody else and you're not taking the time for yourself. It could be that you are plowing too much energy into your career, because I do think you can put too much energy into a career. Now, there are push and pull months. There are like the accountants are a great example of this, where when we are approaching year end, very similar to business owners, stress levels rise, ability to have more time. You do know what I mean? You're shuffling things around, you're going to struggle a little bit. But that shouldn't be 365 days of the year. And if it is, where you're going, well, I've just not trained all month. Like we're right at the end of June now. You need to ask yourself why. What is that reason? And then you need to work with us as your coaches, because somebody gave notice last week to leave, and I'd already got her on a Zoom. I would kind of change the program. I know she's not going to watch any of this, so it's fine. I'm not by any means slagging her off. I'm just talking about it as an example. But we changed the whole program because she was like, right, I work in a college, but I'm struggling to get to the gym. But there is also a confidence part of that. So, right, let's change everything to a gym then at the college. That's fine. So, rewrote everything. And then she said, in a couple of weeks' time, when it's summer holidays, obviously the college is going to close. She's going to have more free available time. Great. But then when she gave notice, she said, well, I'm just not finding the time to do everything. And I thought, we literally discussed this. You go, am I making things up now? Am I just like not getting it? But I thought, even so, the answer I want to give to that is, so what's the alternative then? Okay, so you quit with strong hair. You don't do anything that, like, what are you going to do? Like, is your answer, I don't know, I'll just take a GLP-1 instead then, because that's just like putting a needle in my arm and that's that. Or I don't know where they put it. It might not be in the arm. But is that the alternative path? Is the alternative path to stay exactly as you are, miserable, unhappy, not achieving the kind of body, the physique, the mindset that you really want to get to? Is that the alternative? Like, what is it? Like, where do you go in that scenario? And again, I think when people say, I don't have the time, I'm a bit like, well, it's gonna find you one way or another. You can't be like in this position for the rest of time and do absolutely fuck all about it, because you're going to pay for that at some point. Now, you're either going to pay for that and actually have to do something, or you're probably going to shorten years on your life. Like, genuinely, that is what poor health and fitness does for people. It is eventually going to catch up with them. So I'm a bit like, again, it's this concept of going, so we changed the program. She's getting into the college gym. Amazing. She was tracking her nutrition. Amazing. So I'm thinking, where are we missing then? Like, what is the problem? And I don't want people to think, oh, well, if I can't get 3 sessions in, I've got really bad hay fever at the minute. If I can't get 3 sessions in all of the time, every single week, or if I'm sporting an injury, then I can't do anything. Or like I've coached women really heavily through sciatica. It's another really common perimenopausal symptom that kind of comes in. Frozen shoulder, another really common perimenopausal symptom. We can work around all of these different things without having to say, I can't do it. I can't do anything then. That's me. No, it doesn't have to be. We just need to pivot. We just need to think about different things and actually start to go, well, what can I do? And again, when people talk about tracking being really hard, I can't get on board with it. I don't understand it. I just think you're gonna fucking eat anyway. Do you know what I mean? If you're gonna eat anyway, just scan the freaking packet, okay? And again, it might not be 100%. It might not be perfect. Obviously, the closer you can get to making sure that it is, the more accuracy you're going to bring in terms of your journey, be it reverse dieting, be it fat loss phase, be it like whatever, elite fitness phase, it doesn't really matter. But if you're saying it takes too much time to care about what I put into my body, you're probably missing the point. you're not quite getting there. And again, like we're not aiming for that perfection. There are going to be times where people eat out. And I know, I think Rach brought it up the other day. What do you do in this scenario if you're going to a restaurant and you're eating out? And Caroline gave the perfect response where you just try and do your best with the tracking that you can. We're not aiming for absolute pure perfection, and we're not aiming for 365 days of a calorie deficit. We're allowing a bit of adherence where we go, you know what, we might just not quite get it right this week. Or there are times, a bit like last week, a lot of you guys have ballooned up a bit. And again, I keep saying it all of the time, but it's like I'm well aware of the swelling. I am very, very much well aware of that swelling taking place. So it's not something that can even be kind of ignored. And you can see that reflected on the weighing scale, but it doesn't mean you've shit the bed every single place. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of going, the more you're striving for perfection, I think the more you are actually setting yourselves up to fail. I'm just going to look at the chat, sorry, bring it up. Prunes make you poo. You know what? That's one thing. I haven't had any congestion, none whatsoever. Yeah, GM perfectionist makes you sick. I came into the program injured and I haven't looked back. This is it. This is what we're talking about. And even Demetra, she messaged me saying that my physio said I can't even do lower body and she's got a shoulder injury. And I'm thinking, and I even said, I'm happy to speak to your physio. It's quite honestly, I think some things need to be challenged. Like, for instance, if you're in the gym, and the scenario I was thinking about was a horizontal leg press. Some of you guys will have seen them. Yes, okay, we don't want to be carrying around really heavy weights onto a vertical leg press because yeah, that's probably going to impact your shoulder. But a pin loaded one where all your arm would have to do is drop the pin and then you just push with your legs and your arms are not involved. You could literally like put them behind your back and do nothing. You can't tell me that you can't do that. You know, when you're a bit like, no. Yeah, like do it. Sometimes we have to kind of step in and call bullshit. But again, I'm more than happy to speak to anybody's physio and challenge anything or work with them. Do you know what I mean? Work with them to actually create something that could be beneficial. So yeah, I don't think that's even a scenario where I would say like I see people all the time train with broken legs in the gym. I see people with like serious like knee surgeries that are taking place, people recovering. Like one of my friends who's a fitness coach, his mum had a stroke. And again, if like after a number of weeks, he was getting her into the gym really gently, but working through it so that she had something to do, something to focus on. And obviously, there's strokes of the brain. So it's just trying to make sure that again, she's got something to do and something to focus on, something that's going to benefit her health. All of these things can actually be done. Heart attacks, we have to be a little bit careful of. That's the one that we've got to be a bit like, oh, do you know what I mean? It can, a little bit like Paul Louise went through when she had her SCAD diagnosis. That is unfortunately one where actually lifting heavy weights, it can actually go against you. So with that scenario, I was like, you do need a specialist. Like that's beyond my realms of what I would feel comfortable to coach. So don't go having heart attacks, guys. It's not for me, that one, but I don't wish it upon anyone anyway. I mean, how do people feel about perfectionism? How do you guys feel? Do you feel like you are? Do you notice it at times where you think, ugh, like even Thomas decorating our fucking bathroom, like use painter's tape. I hate painter's tape. I don't care who you are or what you've created. They're all fucking shit and they all peel the paint across after you're done. And we've never learned that trick. Anyway, so it all peeled and then he's had to do it all by hand. So now he's had to go back over where like the, what do you call it? The coving meets, it's not coving, paneling meets the wall and he's had to go back over it with white so we can go back over it with colour and he's like, ugh. And I'm like, oh, no one's gonna know. No one's gonna notice a little bit here and there. Like you need to just stop. Do you know what I mean? You're driving me insane. You're definitely driving yourself insane and it looks good enough. I'm like, it's okay. I find it overwhelming and it actually stops me from what I'm trying to achieve. It blocks me most weeks, especially when it comes to the gym. My view on this is still very much unchanged, and I would just go and do the first set or just go and walk on the treadmill. And if that's all you do, that's all you do. Do you know what I mean? At least it shows intent. And I think that's the difference. Am I allowing my thoughts to talk me out of it? Or am I actually, is my intention good? And I did get there. It's just something kind of derailed me as I was there. And I would also put your tunes on, get the bangers on. Do you know what I mean? Like I was listening to the Jonas Brothers in the gym this morning because I'm that cool. But do you know what I mean? Get something on that makes you feel good. It could be literally High School Musical for me if it needs to be. If I need to just think, right, I want to zone out, or it's likely to be Busted or McFly. I have a one-track brain. So you know when I think it was at the end of last year when Spotify they released that thing where you could download like how many songs you'd listened to, what your most played song was. I literally listened to about 15 songs and that was it. The whole year, every single gym session, I just have the same songs on, like, and just occasionally switch like one out and that's it because I just don't like change. So for me, that's the perfectionism side of my brain. And I know I spoke about that a while ago where when you're deep in kind of a bit of like a stress point, I can't learn new information. I just have to take the same thing in. And that's why I just read like a big series of books. So that's why I listen to the same music. I don't like change in that sense. If I'm not prepared for it or I'm not ready for it, that's the perfectionism side of me. That's like, it's like a marginal bit of OCD, but you just need to learn to work with yourself and go, right, how can I combat this feeling? But now the gym is so much a part of my routine that I feel a bit upset if I can't go. That's how I've managed to get it. But I do think you have to, but that being said, I have coached a few women that have just never fallen in love with weightlifting. They're like, I never got there. I never loved it. They do it because they know they need to, but they don't love it. And that's okay too. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes that does just happen. Thankfully, it's quite rare. Definitely feel like if something goes wrong, I'll be judged or like my week has taken a hit. It's really funny. Like Thomas and I were talking about this earlier. Like, what traits do we have that we might need to be mindful of not to pass on to the baby, or what we kind of want to be a bit like, oh, be really careful of? Like, one of the things I do, and I think this is probably, I think you'll relate to this, Pippa, is I will play out a scenario about 50 times in my head. So if something happens, I'll think, right, this could happen, that could happen, this conversation, they might say this, or I might say that, and then this could happen, and then the da 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 da. You will never catch me off guard because I have gone through every single controversial factor that could possibly take place. It's fucking exhausting living a day inside this brain, but it happens all of the time because again, whether it's a fear of being judged or whether it's a fear of I don't know, somebody having the upper hand and I don't want them to have the upper hand or whatever it might be, but those scenarios have been played out. So this woman that didn't turn up this morning that I thought was quite rude, you pick up the phone, do you know what I mean? If you're not going to turn up, you pick up the phone. You don't send a fucking NHS text message. And anyway, I went back like there's like a thing and I said I'm really disappointed in this approach. I feel like if you're not going to turn up, please ring somebody ahead of time. Like we've rescheduled meetings, we've done this, that, and the other, and then you've given us a wide open appointment on Wednesday, which we can't actually make. So I was like, cool. This isn't very professional, is it? Now, because I've sent that message, my brain has gone, what if she turns up and says this? What about that? What about this? What about this? So I've had to pick the whole thing apart in my brain because I can't quiet the noise. I can't silence what has gone on. That's the perfectionism side. That's the side of feeling like you can't get caught off guard or something can't derail you. Not in the least bit helpful. Do you know what I mean? And probably don't want my child to get that aspect. It's quite like, it can be debilitating. So yours is obviously the feeling of doing something wrong and potentially, like you say, being judged or overthinking. And I know you guys reach out to me in this scenario where you do feel a bit debilitated by something that's happened. And then it's like it is knocking on, isn't it? And then that's where, again, you've got to be careful of your habits. I just overthink and it stays in the brain. But some of you guys then might start emotional eating. You might start skipping the gym, or you might start grabbing the wine and starting to go, oh my God, like this has happened. I'm now. I'm now derailing myself over something that is in my brain that hasn't actually even fucking come to fruition. So I might have done something a bit wrong, but nobody's likely to be judging me as hard as I'm ever judging myself. And now I'm punishing myself for something that didn't even fucking happen, or it didn't even matter. And this is the other thing to remember. We're human beings, guys. We're not robots. We are going to get things wrong. We are going to upset people. We're going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. And one of my old managing directors had a really good saying that he'd rather you make a decision and get it wrong so you can make another decision to get it right than not make a fucking decision at all. That's better because at least it shows you've got initiative. You've got some kind of something about you that you can actually take forward. Whereas if you just don't do anything at all, that's kind of worse. Do you know what I mean? Because then you are just stood still or potentially going backwards. So make the decision. I'm a perfectionist naturally, and it's taken me a long time to change my mindset to not think this way. After a year, I think I have the right balance. And this is the other thing, and I love that, Stacey. And it's we're forever in evolution. Like we're never the finished article. You can learn so much about yourself through being very, very self-aware, and then you kind of go, okay, I now know this about myself. So what do I want to do about that? Am I just okay? Am I happy to just be a perfectionist and just stay there? Or do I kind of want to put things in place where I can go, right, I can see it, it's happening again. Right, okay, or something's triggering it again, and then you can start to take that step back and kind of go, right, where do I sit with this? But you will learn and you will get better and you will develop. All of this sits in the brain, like it's a mindset piece, it's a mindset development. And I'm a massive believer in, like I say, we're never the finished article. We're always developing, but you will get better over time at anything that you draw attention to rather than sweeping it under the carpet. Uh, I'm about to listening to you in the car en route to the gym, so typing my message now. I was frustrated last week, but hit a brick wall and my body felt ruined. Lots of deadlines at work too. I feel I really needed a week of just nutrition and steps and back on the gym gravy train tonight. But aware it would be easy to let things slide, and it really did bother me. Light weights tonight as my shoulder's still not 100%. So, and so many of you, by the way, didn't train at all last week. So I'm just going to say that across the board. So you're actually aware that you're not alone. Or I would say a lot of you guys didn't 100% hit all of your sessions. And I know that for a fact because I was seeing it in the check-ins. And again, this week to me, and all of the check-ins I delivered, I said two things. I'm not too bothered about weight this week. We're all swollen, we're all enormous, we're all feeling it, we're all, do you know what I mean? It's happening. Now, some people did lose weight, some people didn't, but I didn't care anywhere near as much this week because I just think we needed to get through it. Although my auntie did tell me at the weekend that apparently there is also another heat wave due in a couple of weeks. I was like, oh, yay, can't fucking wait. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But weight, I wasn't bothered about. The gym was another one where, or the training, full stop, because we were all hot. We were all irritable. We were all a bit angsty. We were all a bit just suffering. Some gyms have got aircon, some gyms do not have aircon. Your homes, 9 times out of 10, do not have aircon. Sometimes you're more likely to cause a fucking injury by trying to sweat all over the place and you're going to drop things. Do you know what I mean? It was uncomfortable and it was very unnormal. Now, yes, if we all lived in Dubai, I'd be like, suck it up, bitches. Do you know what I mean? Suck it up. But there is aircon all over the place in Dubai. There isn't inside of the UK. So I feel as though we also have to have that element of going, I'm being reasonable. Now, one thing I will say is please take it a little bit steady. Don't go hell for leather. Don't try and kill yourselves this week. Like my session this morning, I could have gone heavier, but I deliberately didn't. I made the decision. I've missed a week, probably longer. I can't remember whether it was last Sunday that I hit or whether it was earlier in the week. I can't remember. But just don't, do you know what I mean? Don't go for the PBs. Just kind of ease your way back into it and take it steady. But I think that's reasonable. Some of you guys, the gyms are in the garage. It's like a tin can. Do you know what I mean? It's not a fun environment to try and train in, but what I love what you said there, Michelle, is that you're not now you're mindful of going, well, if I don't get there now I'm basically just being a bit of a lazy bitch. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference in going, actually, last week was difficult. I wasn't enjoying myself. I had a lot of work stress on, but now, and actually, you still worked on nutrition and steps. It's not like you did nothing at all, but you've made the mindset shift to go, I'm going to make sure that I do the gym stuff this week. I'm going to step into that power and it is going to take place this week. And that's the difference. It's the the perfectionist in me that has led to me feeling guilty when I go over my macros. It's something I'm trying to work on. Yeah, and it is really interesting, isn't it? That kind of that guilt of feeling like, oh, now I'm ashamed of myself. Oh, now I'm ashamed of myself because I did this. And this is where it'd almost be interesting to reverse the psychology. And there are a couple of you that I am considering doing this with, where we actually come up to maintenance and we just go, no, I just want a week at maintenance, like no deficit, no pressure, no, take it away, take the stress away, because actually you've probably been doing it anyway. I actually want you to then start being fully accountable to being at maintenance and actually go, there's no point in doing a deficit right now. And seeing if that reverse psychology of actually tracking maintenance will shift your brain to go, you know what? Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So now I'm deliberately going to be under my calories because I don't want to be at maintenance. And seeing whether giving you permission to track at maintenance actually completely shifts the psyche behind what's going on. I'm just playing with things in my brain. I haven't actually triggered it yet, but there are a few of you that I'm thinking, I wonder whether this might just change that again, that feeling of going, you can't go over, you can't go over, you can't go over, but I know I've gone over. Yeah, well, I might just pretend I haven't. Do you know what I mean? That kind of concept. But again, I'd always rather know. We'd always just rather know, but let's see. We might have a go at that. But I couldn't meet with Kat this morning because the fucking person that didn't turn up. Not Kat for the record. Kat would always turn up. This other woman. Um, definitely a perfectionist at times. I hate making mistakes, but I'm a natural problem solver. So that side of my brain tends to kick in, doesn't allow me to beat myself up most of the time. So that's really interesting in itself as well, because that's also a very developed mindset. So it's really interesting. The differences between men and women are quite apparent. And if you've ever read Women Are From Venus, Men Are From Mars, or whichever way round that is, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. Anyway, that's a really interesting book if you ever want to understand relationships and men versus women and all of this. But the theory is behind men, they're problem solvers. They are naturally people. If you present them with something and let's say you're really upset about something, you're crying, and they will start to try and solve the problem. And they're like, we could do this or we could do that. What about this? Women's brains are the exact opposite. They just want to be heard and they want to be listened to. And they don't want someone throwing a million and one problem solving equations at them. And they're like, shut the fuck up. I don't want that. I just want you to give me a hug and tell me it's going to be okay. But obviously we can cross over on that. Like I'm not organically much of this side. I am again more problem solving, but Thomas is the opposite. Sometimes he actually just wants a bit of a cuddle and a hug, and I'm like, yeah, but what about this? Have you thought about this? This could really work. And he's like, fuck off. Like, do you know what I mean? So it can work the other way. So Emma, what you've done is it's quite a developed mindset to be able to actually go solve the problem, solve the problem, solve the problem. You then just have to be really self-aware of what's going on to go, is that actually what somebody wants? Or do they just want to be heard and they don't want me to solve their problem? Really interesting. I'm okay not to be perfect, but I can't cope when I think I have been perfect and don't get the reward for it. Delayed gratification at its finest, and every single one of you will know exactly what Fran's talking about here, where you have smashed it, you've nailed it, you ticked every single box there is to tick, and you still don't have the outcome that you were looking for. I know Victoria will feel exactly relating to that, and she'll be like, fucking hell. But let me tell you, she got there. It happened. Do you know what I mean? We got to the reverse diet. She got there. It made it happen. And we put a deadline in and she absolutely smashed it. So it always comes. And Fran, obviously, you're now reverse dieting. Do you know what I mean? We've got to the place that we wanted to get to. So sometimes, again, it I don't think it should be easy. I don't think health and fitness would be fun if it was really, really easy. And I think this for me, again, it kind of is with the GLP-1 where you sort of go, no, I want to graft for it. I actually want to feel like I've earned the right to get to this point in where I want to get to. That's my right. That's what I want to do. And I feel like I'm really like opinionated, so I have to be really careful. But I think in some times in life, I think people now just expect the easy result. They just expect things to be really straightforward and easy. So then when they sometimes try something like this, it's like, oh fuck, well, it's not an overnight thing. Oh well, I give up then. I can't be bothered. Do you know what I mean? There'll be an easier way, and you just think, ah. Like, come on, like, do you know what I mean? Like, the best things in life are the things that we really have to hunt for. They're the things that we really have to, like, give ourselves to and genuinely throw ourselves in the deep end. Like, they are where you are going to find the most joy and satisfaction from what we're actually doing. So, I think sometimes those moments are wonderful, but then you've got to have a mindset of steel again to be able to say, I'm on day 9 of perfectionist doing it all, and I've still not got the result. That's where you've got to go, right, okay, day 10, it can happen. Some of you guys, like, you always drop at a similar point of the month, and you know this, and you've learned this. Like Diane, I know you're one of those where it's like you see the biggest shift at a certain point in the month. That's the knowledge, the learning, the education piece, and that's what's great. But you're only going to get there if you continue. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a digging for gold analogy where there are two, like, I don't know, they've got a pickaxe and there's like a whole cartoon about two guys digging for gold. One of them quits and gives up, not getting anywhere. They've been at this for however many weeks or days or hours or whatever it is. The other one decides to keep going and, like, literally then hits on the gold mine, becomes a very wealthy person. Like, that's the point of this. Like, again, delayed gratification. You never know when that moment's about to come. Papa, no worries about your dog. I'm not making and not making a decision is still a decision with consequence, and it absolutely is. And how many times have you not made a decision and then you've missed the boat, or the opportunity has passed, and then you're like, fuck. Or sometimes, occasionally, it probably does work out well to not make a decision, and then something else better might come along. But I still think a lot of the time, making a decision is it's empowering. And that's where I'd rather be. I'd rather be empowered by my decisions, even if I fuck them up or get them wrong or we end up going backwards for whatever reason. I'd still rather be, I'm a control freak. Okay, perfectionism, control freak, they're all just like adjectives of the same thing, really, aren't they? But that's kind of the point. Right, I feel like I'm not really sure that was the best training in the world, but it's what you got. I feel like sometimes it's just about reminding you that it's okay not to be perfect. That actually, I genuinely think the women that do the best inside of this program are not the ones that are chasing perfection. They accept it might just, do you know what I mean? We're not in this for like a 2 week thing. This is health and fitness. This is a lifelong pursuit. Oh, you're 1000% not alone. You're all actually very similar. Like I say, you attract who you are for the most part. So the fact that I know these traits exist to me, and then I'm pushing out content that is relative to this, that's who we're kind of attracting. I have a question actually. Sorry, just on this. It's not relevant to anything I've spoken about. Does anyone know a woman called Claire? Where is it? Claire Comley, just while it's on my brain. Anyone? She's booked in with a consultation Zoom with me tomorrow, and I have no idea how. I haven't spoken to the woman. I have no context of who she is. I don't know how she's got the link to sort that. I'm pretty sure my website, I just gave up on it because it doesn't like, I just thought, no, I just use Instagram. But I thought maybe she's a referral. And I don't know who she is, so I just thought, oh, maybe it's one of you guys. Not sure. Anyway, we'll see if she turns up tomorrow or not. Right, does anybody have anything else that they wish to go through? Any shares? Anything? I've got some wins actually. I forgot. Hang on. Where have I put them? So Emma Ackroyd, metabolic age is officially lower than her actual age, which is amazing. And that's always a nice, what do we call it? A non-scale victory. There you go, Vicky. I don't think that Vicky is on. Uh, no, we've got two Vickies on, but not those two. But yeah, that's a lovely one. And again, it shows she is moving towards really good health. Michelle Schofield and Heidi both wearing shorts comfortably compared to last year when they wouldn't have had the confidence to share their legs. Again, massive, massive wins because you all deserve the right to be present and to feel good in your bodies. Like there is no point in life, do you know what I mean, going through and being like, do you know what I mean, chub rub and feeling uncomfortable and feeling like you can't wear the clothes that you want to wear. And then Louise resisting temptation of office treats, staying strong and bouncing quickly back on track post holiday, which is exactly what we love to see. And obviously, there's going to be a lot more holidays coming up, but well done, Louise, as well for doing that. So, any more for any more, or are we all feeling good? The weather is moving, at least for now. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of want a bit of a no excuses week. Not perfection, but I want everyone to really do their best this week because I feel like, right, we don't have the same level of kind of challenges facing us that we had last week. And I really want to see that positive, striving forward, doing the best that we can do and absolutely smashing this week. So I'm going to leave you to it, legends, but let's fucking go. Mwah. Have a good night, guys. Bye.